Have you ever opened the project in React is like, what? What the fuck? That code was so messy and so many lines. Why do we need 69 libs to calculate the factorial? 420 lines to read a directory tree? This is insane though, and incredibly common. I suggest you go through random individual GitHubs and open projects that aren't forked from somewhere. You'll be amazed at what you see. Here's where minimalism will shine: simplicity, organization, and enhanced readability. There is a phase in the life of every software engineer in which we think that every piece of knowledge we acquire during our journey should have a place in our code. While beginners do it because they don't really know if it fits, more advanced programmers do it because they have it. It's like the Half-Life game where you can pick up all the guns and use them within the same match. If you know it, why not apply, right? Using all the guns randomly is not an efficient way to beat your enemies, and in code, it will probably create an overcomplicated solution that could be handled with much less effort. We know that hardware technology has evolved a lot in the past few years, but the average computer is still average speed, and it means that we should still be careful with complex solutions, because they may not perform as well as they do in our local environments. Unless, of course, we're developing a very specific use case in which the end user will surely possess a higher-end machine, like 3D modeling software or games that have its hardware requirements much better specified. Uncle Bob's Clean Code has a very nice suggestion saying that a function should not exceed 50 lines. Seems exaggerated, but 50 lines is a big chunk of code. Try it by yourself. In the end, if you can't solve a problem with 10 lines, why use 100? Less code can make your solutions more concise and easier to maintain. As engineers, choices are statements that we have to face every single day. If or switch, for a while, async or sequential. Well, you got the point about statements. But what can make the difference in our code is the libraries we choose. I have seen projects with loads and loads of libraries, multiple libraries for the same purpose, libraries to create array chunks, libraries to split strings, libraries to download libraries for everything! One thing every developer should concern is if the project actually needs a new library or it can be solved with a clean, lightweight, and simple utility function. This decision should be easier now as most languages have evolved and implemented natively a lot of features that once before we needed a library. Adding libraries as it would be a zero-cost solution is a huge shot in the foot, as you have added a full-blown library to use 1% of that. While our project source gets bigger and bigger, slows deployments, and probably will slow down development, taking more time to load the environment. On the other hand, most libraries developers add, they don't fully understand them, who developed them, how they work, and it will very likely introduce vulnerabilities to the project that they may not be aware of until it pops up and screws the whole thing. Building a simple, modular component that can be reused with no side effect may be the best solution in most of the cases. So here's a list of questions you should try answering before adding a new library to your project. How much time will I save by adding this library instead of developing the solution? How much effort is it to upgrade that library without breaking the application? How dependent on that library will my app become? Is the library clean enough so I can install only the module I need? If the library gets deprecated, can I replace it easily? If developing a solution is too hard or doesn't worth the time, what are the other alternative libraries? If you have a positive feedback from those questions, okay, you can now add your beloved lib to the project, right? Next topic. Now we're gonna talk a little about planning strategies. The first one is the bottom-up approach. That is a natively minimalist way to start the engineering of the project, building it from the most fundamental level. Focusing on the essentials, you can create a solid foundation that can grow organically by the project needs. The bottom-up approach allows you to start from smaller, manageable tasks and gradually assemble them into a complete and robust solution. In the end, you'll have a product with most exactly what it needs and nothing more. But on the flip side, we also have the top-down approach. This is a broader way to engineer the product, in which you will start from the big picture and gradually break it into smaller components. While it seems a bit counterintuitive to minimalism and takes more time to observe the idea, the key here is to maintain a clear vision of the whole thing while designing simple and modular components. The top-down approach ensures that the overall architecture aligns with the project's goals. By combining top-down and bottom-up, you can strike a balance that maximizes efficiency and maintainability. It's about seeing the forest from the top while planting some bushes among the trees. Now, in the long term, maintaining a project is not an easy task. As the project grows, you lose references, more developers touch the code, and you're not aware of everything. And shouldn't be, you're only one person. What minimalism can ensure in this case is that your project that has grown from dozens to hundreds of modules will be much easier for you and newer developers to understand. Your codebase remains organized and standardized, so you can easily identify where you need to put your magic fingers. To code, of course. With a minimalistic approach, we're not only talking about the initial writing, but making your codebase a nice book to read over time. Organize yourself to be revisiting the codebase from time to time, identifying complex sections, and improving these potential weak joints. If you practice and embrace this mindset, not only you are going to be a better engineer, but also your work environment will be lighter for you and your colleagues. In conclusion, being minimalistic is not something you learn from night to day. It's a deeper approach that the developer needs to embrace and create that mindset. This way it becomes a habit and then a natural behavior of the engineer. Whether you want to start with the 50 lines rule or go to more advanced tops like bottom-up and top-down, the most important step is the first, to start from somewhere. So get up, sit down and start thinking less. Thanks for watching, click like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.